Okay, are we ready? Have we calmed down? Are we at a place where we can digest some more content about One Piece chapter 1043? I know that's what everybody's talking about, but I have some more things I would like to get off my chest. And it's really 10 major things, 10 major things, 10 major connections that I think Oda is throwing out. And it's just from this single chapter. Just this one chapter made me think of and discuss with my friends and just see all over these 10 major things you should probably know during or even after reading One Piece chapter 1043. So we're not going to waste any more time. We're just going to jump straight into these 10 things. All right. I'm super excited. This chapter is phenomenal. So first thing, Kaido's knowledge about Joy Boy and death. This is a crazy connection. This is not confirmed, but what if Kaido knew about Joy Boy and the fact that to become Joy Boy, you must die? So for him, chasing this thing called death. Upon his introduction, that's what was conveyed to us. That was somewhat the theme of Kaido. He said himself that death completes a person. What if Kaido knew about that? And that's why he was chasing that so vehemently. He had moments, we talked about Luffy and Luffy not being Joy Boy after Luffy presumably was about to die. At this point, Kaido knows a lot more than we think, but we have to consider the possibility that Kaido knows enough and that death is really what completes a person, and that's why he was chasing it so bad. Next thing, Shanks and Roger's knowledge about Joy Boy. So when I think about Shanks, I think about so many different things, and one of the major things we've been talking about recently is Shanks, and did he go to the Gorosei and snitch about Luffy? Did he tell them about the devil fruit? There are not many pirates Shanks would go to the Gorosei about, but if he went to them saying that, hey, this guy Luffy, you might want to look into his devil fruit, what is the purpose? That's my only thing. I can't find any motive. But then we think about Roger saying he was too soon, laughing, saying he wished he had lived in Joy Boy's time. That moment when Roger told Shanks something, whatever he told him, it was so important that Oda hasn't told us. And then we think about Shanks and Luffy's connection. Luffy eating the fruit, Shanks giving him the hat, Shanks betting his arm on the new era, meaning Shanks had enough information to the point that after Luffy ate the fruit and after Luffy said the same things Roger did, Shanks said, you know what, this kid, even Ben Beckman said this kid is going to be something special and I'm willing to bet my arm. That's what Shanks did on the new era. I believe Shanks knows the importance of the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and whatever Roger told him, it relates to this moment. We just don't know what it is yet. Next, we have Luffy's devil fruit, the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and how that could be one of the origin fruits from the Atom Tree. What the hell does that mean? Okay, well, it's something that I made up, to be honest. Origin fruits. Fruits that basically every other fruit is based off of. So we have these fruits like rubber, fire, ice, that are pretty much basis of devil fruit lore. For Luffy's fruit, it could be even on a higher tier. Now we're venturing into theory headcanon land, but just say, what if Luffy's fruit has the ability to tap into all three devil fruits, meaning it will truly be a special devil fruit, meaning one, obviously the paramecia properties to use rubber. Two, he can change forms like a Zoan, right? He's just like Chopper almost, changing between gear fourth. But then three, what Luffy's doing right now seems a lot like a Logia. Isn't that strange? Luffy's devil fruit could indeed possess all three qualities, but then when I think about it, if Luffy can do all three things, who is the antithesis at this point of Luffy? Yeah, we'll talk about that a bit later though. Next, well, Zoro is probably next. Okay, so everything goes back to Bing Sake. And if you look at Zoro and everything he's gone through, I plan on making a specific video on everything Zoro will go through and what he would come out on the other side as. But here's a hint, okay? 100 chapters ago, the name of the chapter was Smile. And Robin was in it, nothing too major. But the next chapter, 944, is titled Partner. So maybe 100 chapters later, we may see something with Zoro. Also, Bing Sake, we'll talk about that as well. There's a moment where it says, don't look so down, for tomorrow night, the moon will also rise. I will give some more context later, but if you want more context, you gotta sub to the channel, drop a like, turn on post notifications. You've probably been watching videos before, but you haven't realized you're not subscribed. Look down, click that button, and let's move on because we have more left. Next, the end is really here. Okay, guys, I've been reading and watching One Piece for well over a decade. And now Luffy has awakened his devil fruit, and I feel like that final page, that final moment, I felt like I was waiting for this. Like this is everything I was reading the story for. And seeing Luffy in that smile, it felt like a different smile, like if everything was gonna be okay. I'm not saying Luffy's a different person, but it also made me think of how we've gone from the first chapter, right? Do we remember the first chapter and what it said? At the end of the first chapter, it says, Luffy's great voyage of destiny has begun, right? So when I think about all this and the journey journey we've gone on. The end is here, boys and girls. Luffy has awakened his fruit, presumably. Joy Boy is back. We're heading into the last moments of the story. Oda even said to pay attention to Luffy in this arc, right? He mentioned moments about Gear 5 and all these different things. Guys, if it wasn't clear that the end of One Piece is upon us, this chapter, this panel should bring it to the forefront of our minds. It's scary, but it's here. Next, since we're talking about destiny, let's continue this theme, shall we? Luffy being the chosen one and how it plays with destiny and inherited will. Inherited will is somewhat like destiny, but it's more so passing on dreams and ideals to future generations. Hero Luke says, even if he disappears, his dream will come true. Roger says, those things cannot be stopped. Inherited will, people's dreams, the ebb and flow of the ages, as long as people seek the answer to freedom, these will never cease to be. And when you think about inherited will, destiny, and what it means, Luffy is pretty much the central core of that. Thematically, you can question what's going on because of destiny and free will. When you think of One Piece, again, the first chapter mentioned destiny. There have been several moments in the story where people have talked about Luffy. Back in chapter 99, when I was just reading the chapter, Sanji asked Zoro, do you believe in a higher power? Smoker was saying, hey, it's almost as if this kid is not meant to die. Hawkins talks about Luffy's chances of dying. It never goes to zero. So does destiny play a part there, or is it free will affecting those decisions? That concept is 100% being explored here, but Oda doesn't really shy away from it too much because those things are questioned on a regular basis, right? Where you're looking at the story, and even though it's about free will, destiny could play a factor. And here, the Joy Boy thing, a lot of people are looking at it like if Joy Boy from back then is basically taking over Luffy's body, which I don't think is the case at all. To me, Joy Boy is obviously a title, and Oda is using Joy Boy right now because he doesn't want to reveal the name of the person from back then, who more than likely was a D, had the voice of all things, but Luffy is this era's Joy Boy. Why I have a lot of faith, right, is because Joy Boy from back then failed. And if we assume Roger was the new Joy Boy, just assuming he was, because he had everything Luffy had, he was a trailblazer, and he didn't necessarily fail, but he set the stage. He set the tone for this to happen. So in my mind, even though you can be declared or expected to be Joy Boy, you still have to make those decisions to take that step to accomplish what needs to be accomplished. Joy Boy from 800 years ago wrote a letter saying, hey, I apologize, I cannot do this. He chose something else, and that's led us to where we are now. So the talks of destiny and Luffy achieving all these different things, we have to hold up. It's not a bad thing. Inherited will, it's a major thing in One Piece. People's dreams, the ebb and flow of the ages. What I love about it is that the ebb and flow speaks so much to what Luffy seems to be transforming to. It's so flowy. It's like everything is falling into place. I know it seems insane. I'm sure you guys understand what I'm talking about. Next thing, the reason Zunisha was able to recognize Joy Boy. So I've heard numerous theories, right? People commented, people talking to me. I've thought of so much myself, but when we look at the chapter and what happened, basically what Zunisha heard was the heartbeat, the dum 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 dum, drums of liberation, right? The only way we can connect it is through the devil fruit. There's no other way in my opinion. So Joy Boy, Luffy has obviously inherited his will if Luffy has awakened his fruit, right? And this is Gear 5. I'm thinking about how Gear 2 operates with your heart and your heart pumping and the blood pumping. What if Gear 5 is a combination of all of Luffy's forms, including the blood flow? And that's why Zunisha was able to connect it to Joy Boy, because Joy Boy obviously was the last person to awaken the Gomu Gomu no Mi, because again, it's been hidden away for 800 years, right? The Gorosei even said it was a rumor. So Zunisha is associating whatever's going on with the devil fruit with Joy Boy, and Luffy's doing the same thing now, right? That's the only logical explanation I can think of. Next, Bing Sake is really damn important. Guys, if you have not gone and read the lyrics to Bing Sake, you probably should right now. I'm going to read you guys some lyrics, and again, I teased it in regards to Zoro. I'm going to read the whole thing so you guys can get some more context, all right? Here we go. Not the entire thing because it's pretty long, but the verses that matters to right now. It starts, now comes a storm through the far off sky. Now the waves are dancing, beat upon the drums. If you lose your nerve, this breath could be your last. But if you just hold on, the morning sun will rise. Makes me think of Toki, you are the moon unaware of the dawn. But also I think of just what happened in this chapter. It's a storm going on, right? The waves are dancing because Wano's waves are always just terrible. But then here comes the drums of liberation. And for Luffy, remember the past couple chapters, Luffy's had to hold his breath, right? Literally, and now figuratively, Luffy was knocked out. And it seems like his breath has gone out. His voice was gone. And because of how long it was, it seemed like it was like a deep breath. But it says, if you lose your nerve, this breath could be your last. But if you just hold on, the morning sun will rise. Joy Boy, sun god Nika, right? But then it goes on. It says, today and tomorrow, our dreams through the night, waving our goodbyes, we will never meet again, but don't look so down, for tomorrow night, the moon will also rise. So, again, a teaser for the Zoro video. Do we know the meaning of Shimotsuki? Well, Frost Moon. Crazy, right? Go read and learn the lyrics to Bink Sake, damn it. Next, I mentioned this as well. The antithesis of Luffy is truly Blackbeard. Now, I expect Blackbeard to 100% get 3 devil fruits, and in his palms, he will wield darkness, earthquake, and maybe some other zone. Luffy, on the other hand, will be the sun god, right? To go against the darkness, and also wield rubber, which could contest against the vibrations. Now, the final thing is anybody's guess, but Blackbeard truly is his opposition in more ways than one, because if we feel like Luffy has been influenced, not reincarnated, but inherited the will of Joy Boy to the point that Joy Boy is influencing or aiding Luffy in some way, this goes back to Blackbeard, where a lot of people feel like Blackbeard has inherited the will of Zebek, and some even feel like Zebek is within Blackbeard. So Oda is slowly but surely bringing these two closer and closer together. We saw in Jaya just how much they were alike, but just how much they were different. They reminded you of each other where they could be brothers, but they were so different. It's like they were enemies, rivals, but they were so similar. Even in Inbound Down, Blackbeard's luck is mentioned. Shiryu talking about how Blackbeard is the man he was waiting for. So even Blackbeard being the way that he is, he has people waiting for him, even if it's not Roger, like Whitebeard mentioned. So Blackbeard, man, is going down. Now, the final thing, I think everyone should know this, but Oda is the GOAT. Through my time reading One Piece, right? I started talking about One Piece on YouTube 6-7 years ago. I am more excited now than I've ever been for the story. Sometimes people complain, sometimes I complain about just how slow it's been, slow chapters, breaks. Recently, I don't care about breaks because I understand the importance of it and how Oda needs his breaks. But man, what story can hold our attention for this long to the point that we're like losing our minds and everybody's talking about the chapter? People that I haven't seen talk about One Piece in years, they're coming out and making videos about it. So Oda is the GOAT. One Piece is the greatest story of all time to me, right? In regards to my enjoyment, I haven't read everything, obviously, but to me, based on my experience, everything I've been through, all the stories I've read, just the impact, the influence, the longevity. Oda is the GOAT. One Piece is the GOAT. Y'all, fantastic chapter. There's a lot more to go, a lot more to come. There's still so much to talk about. I want to touch on Luffy's destiny, maybe in a specific video, because it is a very delicate topic, but it needs some time. Skypiea has to be reread. We got to go back and pull some things from different chapters all the way from the beginning of the story to make it make sense so you guys can understand, not to necessarily be concerned, because it could be a good thing. It's all about execution, right? But guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at BragoD.Ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys all so much. Again, guys, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
I start doubting me, I felt lost.